Hi, my name is Martha Kalby, and I'm a sex therapist, and I'm here today to talk to you about COVID and sex. Yes, I was in my sewing room yesterday making a mask. So, COVID-19 is obviously dramatically changing the way that people share intimacy and date. And this is affecting a lot of people, particularly single people, dating people, polyamorous people, or people who are in established relationships who don't live together. Or who don't want to share germs, or where one of them gets sick and they want to maintain some distance. So everybody needs to make their own decision about who's going to be in their little germ sharing family group. For instance, a person and their partner might decide, we live together, we have contact with each other all the time, we share germs, and probably, in all likelihood, if one of us gets sick, the other is going to get sick, and we're fine with that. Other people won't make that decision, and they'll want to maintain some germ distance even within their home, which would require wearing a mask and wearing gloves and doing lots of sanitizing, and for sure thinking about intimate contact that's sustained, like kissing or face-to-face close conversations, because, as I'm sure you know by now, COVID is spread by droplets from your nose or mouth from your breathing, which can be transmitted by somebody breathing your breath or you breathing someone else's breath, or by somebody touching their face and collecting some of the germs from their nose or mouth or breath, and then putting that on a surface, and then you touching that surface and then touching your nose and mouth. So you can see how this would be sexually transmitted, not because sexual contact specifically transmits COVID, but because sex is usually a close encounter that's often face-to-face. And it's, even when it's not face-to-face, it's usually sustained for a long enough period of time that you're essentially sharing your little bubble of germs and breath. Usually your respirations increase, your heart rate increases, all of that stuff that happens with arousal creates more of a bubble of germs. And so having somebody in that bubble is a way to, for sure, transmit COVID. So the question that I've been getting a lot lately is, how the heck do I date? What do I do about my sex life? And what do I do about my polyamorous relationships where I don't cohabit with some of my partners and I'm socially distanced from them? So in a word, I would say self-pleasure and cybersex. So I'm sure that that doesn't come as a huge surprise to you, or maybe it does, you know, having somebody talk about this right on YouTube. Self-pleasure is a very, very safe way to have sex, regardless of what disease you're trying to avoid transmitting or receiving. So this is a great time to really ramp up your own erotic connection with yourself. What seems hot? What would you enjoy? You can have a very luxurious, leisurely, fabulous self-pleasure session or relationship with yourself. And this is a great time to explore that entire aspect of your eroticism. It's also a great time to use technology. So how about some sexting? How about some sexy texting? How about some FaceTime dates or Skype dates? And, you know, obviously privacy is a concern, but if you feel comfortable with the privacy concern of cyber sex or sexting, we do have the technology in place for you to have a date remotely. And that may be much more intimate than any way that you could be in the same physical space with somebody that you want to be intimate with. For instance, if somebody from another household comes over to your household, they're going to have to wash their hands, you're going to have to be outside, you're going to have to be at least 6 feet apart, you might want to face different directions so that your breath goes different directions, or this is certainly a sexy look, right? So the idea that you can have intimacy that way, you can have a conversation that way, and a conversation can be really intimate, but there's when you're on a video conference, you can have a much closer feeling conversation because you're face to face. And I think as we kind of move into this difficult time where we have to relate to our loved ones differently than we normally would, we're starting to notice that there is a certain intimacy that you can have in a video conference or a video chat that is hard to achieve in real person right now. So I recommend it, and I think it's a better option than you trying to figure out some way to be intimate physically in the same space. How about you be intimate physically in separate spaces with yourself or with each other using technology? I will talk more in a future vlog about some of the particular concerns for people who are in open relationships. And I hope that you will comment below and send me any questions that you have, and I'll try to answer them. Stay safe.